All right, so we are doing 4.6. We are on page 180. In this lesson, you guys are learning how to now write from an equation. Oh, sorry. Last time we learned how to go from an equation to a graph. Now I want you guys to go from a graph to write an equation in slope intercept form. So we just learned standard form, right? What is standard form?
It's y or it's ax plus by c.
Awesome. Now that's standard. What's slope intercept?
Y equals mx plus b.
Okay, so if you look at example number 1, it says write an equation in slope intercept form. If you just had this graph and I said write me an equation that's in slope intercept form, the first thing I want you to do is go find me the y-intercept. What's the y-intercept? 5. So now I know y equals mx plus b. I know what my b is. B is 5. Now, what you need to do is go from 5. Look down your line. Crosshairs. Remember crosshairs like you're shooting a gun? Look for the next point that would land in crosshairs. For example, let me grab my little laser pointer. This does not land on crosshairs. Would you agree? This does not land on crosshairs.
No, I'm doing something with 2 points.
Ooh, there's one right there. He lands perfectly in the crosshairs. So what I want you to do is I want you to go from your y-intercept to the next point and count how many do you go up and over. Or how many do you go down and over. Okay, you always go up or down first, okay? This makes it look like they want you to go over and then down. I don't want you doing that. That will get you the wrong slope. You have to go up or down first, then over or back, okay? So, what is the slope from this point to this point? How many do I go up?
3.
I go up 3, right? How many do I go over?
2.
Now, which way did I go? I went left, which means it's going to be -2. There's your slope. So now I'm going to go back over here. So I know my y-intercept is 5. I know my slope was 3, -2. Sorry, 3 over -2. Put my x in. Put my plus sign in. Put my y. Look. We just made a slope-intercept equation just from the graph. Let me talk to you about the steps again one more time. Write this down. Step number 1. Where's my y-intercept? Find your y-intercept first. Step number 2. Where's the next point down the line? Go look through the crosshairs and find me the next point. Step number 3. What's my rise over run to get from one point to the next? And then plug in your slope, plug in your y-intercept, and you have an equation. How about this one? Step number 1 is what? Find the y-intercept. What is the y-intercept?
0.
-3.
Okay.
-3. So I know that my y equals mx plus b. My b is going to be -3. Now, step number 2. What was step number 2?
Find next point.
Good job. Find the next point in the crosshairs. I'm looking up my line. The next point in the crosshairs is right here. What's step number 3? Find the rise over the run. How many do I need to go down?
A couple.
Down 5, back 3.
So if I go down 5, that's negative. And you're saying go back 3?
Yeah.
That's negative. What's a negative over a negative?
Positive.
So is -5 over -3 the same thing as 5 over 3? Both of these are correct. If you gave me the top one, I would still count you correct. Okay? But it's going to be 5 over 3 and -3. How do I make this actually look like an equation now? I'm missing a whole bunch of good stuff.
You do y equals 5 over 3x plus -3.
Perfect. You're done. You did it. That is your equation. That's in slope-intercept form. Awesome job, you guys. Let's do this one. Step number 1 is what, Max? Did you write it down? Okay, write this down. Step number 1.
Oh, found the y-intercept.
Yes, what is the y-intercept? Where does it cross the y? 2. Y-intercept is 2. Step number 2. Anybody?
Find next point in the process. Find the next
Awesome.
one.
Go up your line and find the next point. Now, some of you may have gone here. Some of you may have gone here. Does it matter? No, because will my slope still be the same? Yeah. Let's say some of you automatically saw this bottom red dot first. What's the slope from here to my y-intercept? 1, 2. So up 2.
Over 1.
Over 1. Is it the same for here? 1, 2. Over 1. So does it matter? No, as long as it's the next point in the crosshairs, right?
You should
Okay.
have gone up 6 over 2.
What's that?
You could have gone to the 6.
I could have gone from here, but remember, I want to go to the next point. So if I would have skipped this one and just gone 1, 2, 3, 4 over 2, 4 over.
You could have like done that one too.
Yeah, you could have done 4 over 2. What does that reduce to?
1/2.
It reduces to this, right?
1/2.
I want you guys to have the most simplest form slope, and that would be this little guy, okay? Not the big guy. Okay? Now, I'm not done. That does not look like an equation. What good stuff am I missing?
Equal sign.
Okay, so I need an equal sign.
You need y.
I need a y.
You need an
X
I need an x
plus
and a plus. Do I have an equation? I sure do. How you guys feeling about this? Doing okay? Okay, let's do number 2. Step number 1. If you don't have this written down, make sure you do. Step number 1 is
Find the next point.
find the
Find the y-intercept.
y-intercept. What is the y-intercept?
-1.
Very good, -1. Step number 2.
Find the next point in the process.
Okay, so I'm going to go look in my crosshairs.
3 -5.
This is not a point, that's not a point, that's not a point, that's not a point, that's not a point. Aha! Yes, that's my point. Now, what's step number 3?
Find the rise of 1.
Okay, can I go from here and go up and then over? Yeah, or I could go here and go down and then over, right? It doesn't matter which one. I'm going to do this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my rise is 4. And I go backwards how many?
3.
3. Now if I'm going backwards, it's going to be -3. I have a slope. But that does not look like an equation.
You need y.
I need a y,
X plus.
an x, and a plus. What am I missing? One more symbol.
Equals.
Equals! Now do I have an equation? Huzzah! It looks beautiful. All right. Going on to the next page. Ooh! Check out this guy. It's been a while. If a line is horizontal, what is the slope?
0.
Yes. If a line is vertical, what is the slope? Undefined. Doesn't exist, right? Different than 0. However, my line is horizontal, so you guys just told me something. What is the slope? 0. What is the y-intercept?
-4.
-4. So now I have y equals 0x plus -4. Is that the equation that would get me that line? Because 0x is actually what?
Nothing.
Nothing. So that means it's just y equals -4. How do I graph y equals -4? Well, I just go to -4, put a dot, and then draw a line through it, right? So it says which of these is the equation that is shown by that graph? A, B, C, or D?
A.
A. Good job. Alrighty. That is it for today. Let's look at your homework real quick, okay?
Wait, that was our homework?
That was the lesson.
She said we're doing a worksheet for our homework.
Oh,
Remember? We don't.
put it all down.
Well, that's good that you put it down. That was your notes, so you could do your homework. All right, that was lesson 4.6. So here's your homework. I'm going to post it to the Google Classroom. Let's see here. Almost there. No, that's the activity. Here it is. Okay, so here's your homework. 1 through 4 says write an equation of the line in slope-intercept form. Just like what we just did. Step number 1 is what?
Find the y-intercept.
What's the y-intercept on number 1? Careful of this. This is going by 2s. Yeah, good. It's 7. Y-intercept is 7. Now, I'm just going to go from this point to this point, okay? They just already told me it. It's not in the crosshairs, but that's because their scale is weird. It's going by 2s.
If we're still here in the class, we have to turn it on Google Classroom.
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody will turn it on Google Classroom. That way it's all streamlined for me in one place. Okay? Good question. Guys, remember, these are going by halves, but they're actually ones, right? So what's the rise? It's 1, 2 over 1 whole. You have to look at the scale. It's really weird, right? What's the slope?
2 over 1.
Good. Now that does not look like an equation. What is it missing?
Equals 2 over 1.
I need y equals 2 over 1x.
Plus 7.
There you go. That's the equation. Just did number 1 with you. Psst, write it down. Okay, so on 2, 3, and 4, all you have to do is follow your steps. Step number 1, find the y-intercept. Step number 2, go find another point. It looks like they were very gracious and gave you the other point already. Step number 3, go find the rise over the run. And the last step, make it look like an equation. Okay? 5, 6, and 7. Write an equation of the line that passes through these points. Ooh, it's been a while. It's been a long time. Do you guys remember what slope equals? Change in y over the change of x. So do you have to graph both of these to go find all of your equation? Not really. All I really need to do is find the slope by using this equation, right? Like for example, on number 7, I would make this x1, y1, x2, y2. Are you following me? This was a while ago. This was like 2 weeks ago. Maybe longer than that. How do I find slope?
Wait, what did you write? I can't see over the thing.
Oh, sorry. Slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So it's going to be 0 minus 0 over negative 5 minus negative 1.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see it. I see it.
You see it? What's 0 minus 0? 0. What's negative 5 plus 1?
4.
Negative 4. But anytime there's a 0 in the numerator, my fraction actually equals 0, right? If the 0 is in the denominator, it would be undefined. So what is my slope? 0. Okay, now, which of these points is the y-intercept? Or is neither of them the y-intercept?
I don't think any of them.
Do they both go on the x-intercepts? So if I had a line like this, negative 1, 0 is right here. Negative 5, 0 is right here. My slope is 0. What is the line going to look like? Yeah, on the x-axis, right? How weird is that? What is my equation? It's going to be y equals, slope is 0. What's the y-intercept? This will eventually hit the y where? Look how weird that one was. That's your answer to number 7, by the way, if you want to write that down. That's a weird one. Okay, so that's what you're going to do for 5 through 7. And then number 8, I want you to try that one on your own, okay? So your homework is just 1 through 8. That's it. And we already did 2 together. Okay? Any questions? No? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and upload this video, and I'm going to go ahead and upload this homework to the Google Classroom. If you have printer capabilities, you can print this out and go do it. If not, don't worry about it. Just write it in your notebook. Make sure you take a really good picture so I can see it, okay? And then upload it for me by tomorrow. Sounds good?
Yeah.
All right.